Hope everyone's doing great today. So the S&P finished up 3% today and it closed at 3,900. The low for it is 3,636. So we've definitely had quite a bit of a rally off the bottom. Not, a whole lot, but we're still definitely a lot ways off the highs for sure. But we've continued this little tiny bear market rally here, bear market bounce call. It hasn't been super big. It's been, a rally, but if you go back a few videos and daily recaps, you'll see that I called that we were gonna have a bit of a rally here, and it seems I've been right. So that's cool. If we'll look at the heat map here of the S&P, financials were a big winner today. They had that stress test they do annually in the US where basically they do a scenario with kind of the economy completely collapsed and then some, what would happen, and the banks held up really well. So that's kind of why they're up today a lot, I think, and what we're just kind of been, oversold a lot off of recession fears and stuff. I like the banks and stuff, but it's just if we actually have a recession, which in my opinion we really are, I wouldn't you don't want to be in them. But yeah, even if you want to, honestly, it's not even like a lot of these, banks you have some really good prices on them, especially like Goldman and all the Wells Fargo. Pick who you want. You got some really good companies out there and banks, and it's well known. But anyways, look at utilities here and then real estate, energy, everything was pretty green today. It was nice to see. It's nice to see. So yes, the NASDAQ, sorry, finished up 3.3%. Here you can see its year-to-date trends. Doesn't look pretty good. It doesn't look pretty good at all. It looks pretty bad. As you can see here, I think we're just gonna basically have maybe one of these, just a little rally and then something like that. I'm not, but yeah, and then eventually we'll just make a new low again. Yeah, I think, especially on the NASDAQ, for sure. It's very volatile and it's got, but we'll look at the Dow here. It was up 2.7 today. If we look at quick little 5-year chart of it here, you can see that. Just brings a little bit of context to everything. And then if we look at big cap tech here, it was a really good day for it, looks like, for sure. See, it's having a little bit of this rally too here. Basically, it obviously kind of has a large control over the indexes and stuff. So yeah, we'll look at ARC. It was up 4% today. I wouldn't touch ARC for a good while. Like I would buy it at a certain price if it went low enough, or if it was the right actual stock market environment. But it's not, evidently not. It's very volatile too. I don't really like volatility too much, and that's definitely what you get with ARC for sure. So we'll put it in a little bit of context here. We'll pull up the 5-year chart. There you go. So obviously, Kathy Woods was famous during 2020. She was I think the best index manager, whatever you want to call them, fund manager, and then now she's unfortunately fallen out of favor. But yeah, I don't really, I'm really bearish on money losing companies and even somewhat technology as a whole. It's come down a lot. Technology, obviously, I'm not so bearish on it, but I have been for ever since kind of money losers since November when the Fed, turned hawkish and stuff. But yeah, I would just, if you want to buy into them, I would wait, and you'll get them at a really good price, in my opinion. This is kind of in a small way like the dot-com bubble. You see all these money losing stocks and both fintech and tech and all whatnot, down 70, 80, 90% from its highs. It's kind of crazy. And then crypto as well, that whole space melting down. It's very interesting. So we'll look at the bonds here today. 10 years at 3.13, and then 2 years at 3.06. If we look at the 2-year treasury, a chart here, you can see it's had quite a rise. That's what you get. Well, you have interest rates at 0%, and then obviously the Fed turns here in November or so, and now all of a sudden we're going to apparently finish at, well, they say 3.4%, so 3.5 or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, the end of the year, which is crazy when you think about how much the inflation picture and rate hiking picture has changed. It's just changed massively. I have a video on that actually, if you guys somewhat want to check it out. So look at 10-year again here, you can see it's definitely had quite a rise. Peaked out on the 14th, it looked like, at, yeah, 3.48. Peaked out on the 14th. So I think it'll go, in my opinion, it'll go higher, because I think I don't know, it's really like a bit of an economic hurricane coming, as I've said a few times here, not to borrow from Jamie Dimon, but anyways. So I wanted to a little bit talk about defensives today, just a little smidge, and this is a company I really like. It's called AQN. It's just your basic utilities company, but they look at this dividend for one. And they also, if you look into it, they have a lot of growth coming, like a lot. It's a utility, and but they're supposed to be notoriously somewhat slow for growth, especially in share price anyways, somewhat, and growth in general. But these guys have a lot of growth coming, and they also are becoming a bit of a dividend aristocrat. They've raised the dividend, I'm not sure how many years now, but they do plan on to keep raising it, and they've recently become a little bit of a dividend aristocrat column for a few years. Obviously it's got the high PE, which is I don't like at all, especially in this environment, but honestly it's a utility, so so you gotta someone a while ago, what they did is, well, what they said they did was they matched out very high PE ratio stocks with very low PE ratio stocks, so you had so it balanced out to an average PE, which I thought that was interesting. That's not my strategy personally. I don't really, not sure what to think about it, but anyways, we'll look at Altria. They were actually, well, they've been in the news recently with Juul. The FDA basically saying you guys can't sell Juuls anymore. And then I think today the Juul company, or Juul Labs, actually filed like whatever in courts, trying to get that blocked so that they can still sell Juuls. And I read that if they are not unable to win that, and if Juuls are not able to be sold, like the Juuls lab, which is I guess owned by Altria, will be maybe filing for bankruptcy. They're preparing to. So I thought that was interesting. You can see, well, I guess kind of where the news hit somewhat, you could maybe say, I don't know for sure. I haven't been really following along with it too much until I heard about it around here, I think. So, and then we'll have the Pika Energy. I'm a huge energy bull, so we'll look at the XLE up 1.3 today, which I thought was interesting compared to Canada's, which was up 3.29. I think yesterday we did greatly it was the opposite. We did a lot worse than the Americans. I'm up in Canada here for everybody who doesn't know. So I like to, so I follow the US market very closely, but I'm based up in Canada. So we'll just pull up a little year-to-date chart here, and you can see, I'm hoping it's not one of these again. In my mind, I'm hoping, but I really think that we're going to rally here and eventually make our way back up here in new highs. I'm hoping it's not going to be one of these kind of deals, and then we just go back down. But I thoroughly think we're going to resume this huge uptrend here. We have to, in my mind. Like I have a video on it. It's all about supply and demand for oil, and also it's really, like, I'll talk about it here. It's the perfect storm for these oil companies. Like, look at this PE ratio, a two PE, and then it's oil is really the place to be. Oil companies, especially if you look back at their historical prices and stuff. This is a little bit extreme to some degree. I'll show you guys crescent point here for a little bit better. Yeah, then you can look at that, and that's oil is at 100 a barrel, and it's not soaring anytime soon. I have a video on that, but basically there is no supply to come, like basically at all. From North America, we cannot increase supply. Refineries are at 95% capacity. The only country that can is Saudi Arabia, and they like their money. They're not, and they're also pissed off at the US. So they're not going to be pumping much more oil at all. And even then, they don't have the capability to really change. Like they can, but they can't change, a whole lot. And then, well, obviously it's dependent on the Russia-Ukraine war, but in my mind, that's going to go on for a long time. And even then, I've always felt since kind of the war started that those sanctions will not go anywhere for a long time. As much as, obviously there's all this government focus on oil prices and energy prices and all this stuff. I don't know. I really think that, well, I don't want to really get into the war and stuff, but I really think that those sanctions are going to be staying there. I mean, that's my opinion. Obviously, I wouldn't necessarily bet on that. There's a lot more to it here. So we'll talk about Crescent Point a little bit. It's got a nice 3% dividend. It's a very popular stock here in Canada anyways. Everybody kind of knows it. Look at the PE 1.5, and then look at the historical price, and everybody kind of knows about energy. It's really the place to be. So yeah. So just to finish it up here, the S&P was up 3% today. NASDAQ up 3.34, and then the Dow up 2.68. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope everyone's doing great, and yeah, take care.